Rick's Firearm Academy of Detroit salutes Black History Month by honoring patriots, rebels, and heroes who fought for freedom. Before I reveal today's honoree, I'm just going to recap why I'm doing this activity. February is Black History Month, and as part of Black History Month, I've been spotlighting black people of note. But if you've been following this series thus far, you know that not every honoree was black. As a matter of fact, one of them was white. I invite you to sift through the previous episodes and find out who that was. Some of you are so smart, you already know who it is. But just wanted to take a moment to ask that if you enjoyed this video or any of the other preceding videos, if you would take just a couple of seconds to like this video, and if you want to continue on and receive notifications about further installments later on this month as we progress towards the 29th, I invite you to subscribe. And as you probably know, I am not a historian. I am a firearms instructor, gun rights advocate in Detroit, Michigan. And we can talk about guns and other things. But press the like button and subscribe. Let's get on to today's honoree. Today's honoree is Dred Scott. Many of you have probably heard of the Dred Scott Decision. It was a Supreme Court case. In a nutshell, Scott was born into slavery, and of course he had a master, and whenever master moved, so did Dred Scott. Eventually, they moved from their slave state to a state that did not honor slavery. And, well, eventually Mr. Scott started having dreams of freedom, and he pursued it. He pursued it all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. And the Supreme Court, in its final ruling, came down with what has been known as the Dred Scott Decision. And in that Dred Scott Decision, the Supreme Court ruled, and I'm quoting, "If Negroes were entitled to the privileges and immunities of white citizens, it would give persons of the Negro race the right to keep and bear arms wherever they want, inevitably producing discontent and insubordination among them, and endangering the peace and safety of the state." Man, that was heavy. Ultimately, the Supreme Court in that day basically said it was too dangerous to give Negroes or black people the right to keep and bear arms, because they would want to be free, and obviously they would have the right to make themselves free. Couple of implications. The first implication is that a citizen, as determined by the Supreme Court, can own guns. Slaves, it follows, cannot. Another implication is that black people of that era could not be entrusted with the responsibility of owning guns. Man, that is deep. The hate and the racism and the, man, just the way they viewed black people. Well, of course, they were slave owners, so we really shouldn't expect too much of them. But here's the bottom line. If you don't like guns, you probably don't know your history. Stop living like a slave and own a gun.